What has been going on with car prices in the UK recently? It's been absolutely crazy over the last 3 months, and we've seen the price of electric cars, we've seen the prices of Land Rovers, which particularly interest me, massively drop in price. In this video, I'm also going to be showing you some examples of those vehicles, and we'll go through AutoTrader together in the next minute, talk about those examples, what cars you can get at what price. I think there's some incredible deals to be getting if you're interested in buying a new car right now. I'm also going to be showing you this little tool called AutoTrader Price Tracker, which essentially is something all of you can use at home. I highly recommend it. I'll put a link to where you can get it in the description below. But essentially it lets you track the prices of vehicles when the dealer or the private seller puts them up, and you can see the incremental reductions or increases that someone will make to that vehicle before it's sold. It's a really helpful tool to help negotiate price when you're going to look at a car. You can kind of see how desperate the person's to sell it, but also you can see how long it's been on the market for. So let's jump over to AutoTrader right now. So here we are on AutoTrader, and let's start actually by looking at Land Rovers, and particularly the Range Rover, because for me this is where I think is the most interesting. And what we're going to do is we're going to start searching here, and I'm going to put some more filtering on. So let's go to model year. So let's say if you're looking at buying a Land Rover, and let's say you want to buy one, I don't know, 3 years old, let's say. So just going into its third year, so 2021. So looking on here, this is the AutoTrader price tracker you can probably see here. So you can see, for example, this brand new Range Rover was listed on the 2nd of December at 126, and they've reduced it by £4,000, and you can see exactly when those reductions were made, which is quite useful, but arguably this is a pretty expensive example we're looking at here. This is the kind of vehicle that I think is really attractive right now. So this is a 2-litre P400e, so it's the hybrid engine. You know, this is a really well-spec'd Range Rover for £54,880, a 2021 plate. I think these look incredible and are so nice. And right now, if you're in the market for a large SUV, that a lot of people are in the winter, you know, something like a Range Rover is very nice. Going down through here as well, let's look at some other ones. So you can see the prices here. So this is like added yesterday. They have already reduced it by £600. But I mean, look at this one here. So this one here is being sold by a dealer. It was added on the 18th of the 9th at £63,000 pretty much, and now it's 57. So it's been dropped by £5,000, reasonable deduction. This one here has been dropped by £6,000. It came on in November. This one's 3,000, and then let's keep moving down and find if we get any really big reductions. I mean, this one's pretty insane. So this one here, for example, was listed in October. This is a new shape Range Rover, and they started at 117. It's now 96. They've dropped it by £20,000 just over the last 2 months, which is pretty crazy. And if you're looking for a Range Rover right now, I think it's a great time to buy. £4,000 reduction. You'll see all these vehicles have been reduced in some way, shape or form. Let's go on to the next page and see what we can see on here as well. This is a 10k reduction, so all these new Range Rovers now are just getting reduced. And I think when they were listed in October, 28th of the 10th, 104,000, we're down at 95 now. These cars now are just, you know, if you're looking for a brand new Range Rover, they were selling for overlist, and now they're just not. If we start from lowest first, let's look at these cars, so around the 50 mark, because for me that's kind of a good price point. If you can pick up one of these Range Rovers for around the, I don't know, 50, we'll say 45 to 55 price range, that is, I think, pretty good value for money for a vehicle like this. Here's another one. This is a Cat S, so let's not look at that. I wouldn't normally look at those. So here, £5,000 off this one, right? So they've had it since October, 54,000. AutoTrader Price Tracker tells me this has been reduced by £5,400. It's at Stratstone Garage. And the good thing with this time of year with these big dealers is a lot of these big dealers are looking to shift stock before the end of the year. They want to get rid of these vehicles before the year's up. And so the fact that, you know, this is a one-owner car with 40,000 miles, is a 2021 plate. So it's probably just falling out of warranty, if it is even out of warranty. And as a result, probably just extend the warranty as well, which I would recommend with these cars. And I'll maybe touch on some of my experience with Land Rover and why these cars are probably such good value for money at the moment. 49k, great looking cars that were, when they were sold, probably 90, £100,000 in their day, and they're all sitting around the £50,000 mark at the moment, apart from the new ones. They're obviously a bit more, but have also dropped. Here's a Defender as well. So a Defender, the X Dynamic, the 3 litre version. They've had it since October, and they've had it on for 75k. They've dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped. £10,000 off that at the moment. And so without having the price tracker, you're not able to tell what these cars were before. So it's hard when you go in to negotiate. But I think now you can kind of get an idea and see what these cars have been reduced at. It's a really easy way to say, well, look, I can see you've had this since October. You know, what can we do now to get this deal over the line before the new year? So I think it's a great time to be buying cars at the moment. There's definitely been a dip in the market. I think the other one to look at, which most people are talking about at the moment, particularly with electric cars, is the Porsche Taycan. The Porsche Taycan has really dropped from where it was. You can pick up a Taycan now. Let's say, look at this one, £54,000, right? 2021 plate with 13,000 miles. It's got the performance battery, pan roof. It's a really good spec, and it's really low mileage. And they've had this car on and since March. They've had it on since the 17th of March this year at 75k. It's been dropped by £19,990. This car, I reckon, if you went in and said, look, I want to take this off your hands, what can we do? I mean, you could offer them, you could probably chip them maybe another 5,000 and see what they say. You've got a lot of room here because these people are going to want to move these cars, particularly before the end of the year. I think it's a great time to be looking. So there's so many Taycans now, all sitting at the £50,000 mark, 20,000 miles, 38,000 miles, 22,000 miles. So not particularly high mileage for a 3-year-old vehicle. And I think part of this is because these vehicles have all come out of their lease deals, because a lot of people bought them through a business on a 2-year, or in this case a 3-year lease, and as a result they've all come out at the same time. There's now about 600 Taycans on AutoTrader currently. So I think the question is, with all these vehicles, why has there been such a change? What's happened in the market? What's happened, and why are there so many on the market, and why are they so cheap? Well, I think let's start with Land Rover. I know a bit more about Land Rover generally. I own a Discovery 5, which I haven't had for 6 months because it's been in the dealership getting repaired. I have a Defender 90, an old TD5 Defender, which I've just sold actually, and the guy's picking it up this weekend to drive back to Denmark. I sold that on the prize giveaway competition here on the page. If you haven't already, please click subscribe here. It really helps build the channel, and also you can be aware of new prize giveaway competitions I might be running with any of my cars. I've also got a Land Rover Series 1 as well, which is a 65-year-old car. But I think with Land Rovers in general, what's happened in the market? Well, we all know, if you've been looking at the news to do with cars generally, you'll see that Land Rovers have been stolen way more, particularly Range Rovers. And as a result, these vehicles have become really expensive to insure. So we're looking at those examples there of, let's say, I don't know, a £53,000 Range Rover that has done, I don't know, 30,000 miles, and probably, it's only like 2.5, 3 years old. The reason is the insurance on that is probably around £5,000 to £8,000 a year, and so that's really gone up from probably £1,000 right up to the kind of £8,000, even £10,000. And if you're looking at Range Rover SVRs, which are originally really attractive vehicles, there again, £50,000, £60,000. Those cars were like 120 new, and the problem is with those is they're highly stolen, they're very desirable, and so they get nicked, and as a result your insurance goes up. So I think from a Land Rover perspective, that is why we're seeing so many cars now on the market at this price. The insurance is very high for them. They get nicked often. And also, I feel Land Rover is going through a little bit of a crisis in regards to reliability and sourcing their parts. I've been waiting 6 months now for my Discovery 5 to be repaired, waiting for this wiring loom. Still no ETA on that. We're basically Christmas now. It's not going to get any better, I can't imagine, until next year now. So it's going to be a good 6 months then. I will have been waiting, with still no estimate on when that part's going to be there. And I spoke to JLR and they said, their senior team is well aware that their biggest problem they face right now is just parts. They can't fix and repair the vehicles, and they've also got all this insurance crisis on their hands too. So there's a lot going on with JLR. And although those cars are very attractive, regular watchers of the channel will know I don't think I could do it myself. I don't think I could actually buy another one based on the experience I've had with the JLR team. It's just been helpless to be able to get any information and find out what's happened to my vehicle. So as much as I want to buy one of those Range Rovers, I just couldn't do it to myself based on reliability and probably the insurance as well. But I think from a reliability perspective, I've been burned quite badly with my Discovery 5, having to have a new engine, having this white part now, it's been out for 6 months, just so many issues with it that I just don't think I could do it. Talking about electric cars, talking about the Taycans, for example, I think for the Taycans, really, the reason these are probably this price is because of those lease deals. So everyone bought these when electric cars came out and people didn't want Teslas. They had a business. They were like, right, I'll get a Taycan. That's a nice electric car, and they are. They're amazing to drive, but also inside they have everything really. And so Taycans were very popular with businesses, but obviously when that lease deal ends at 3 years, which these are, suddenly there's a flood of them on the market. And what dictates the price of anything really is supply and demand. If there's more on the market, the price is going to go down. So right now, if you're looking for a Taycan, great time to pick one up. You're probably saving. These cars have lost £40,000, £50,000 over 2.5, 3 years. So pretty significant depreciation. But it's a great time if you're in the market to buy. I think the other reason with electric vehicles, and I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube and social media in general, people's opinions is that electric cars are getting more and more expensive to charge. Electricity's gone up, and as a result, if you're on the motorway and you're looking at recharging your car, you could easily be doing like 40 quid maybe in, and actually that takes you 30 to 60 minutes to actually recharge your car. So you get more queues at the electric charging stations, there's not enough electric chargers, and it takes that time to do it, and it's not even that cheap anymore. So I think there's a few factors now with the electric car market, and I don't know if we're getting to that point where there's a bit of a crisis with what's happening with electric cars. Are people as confident in them as they were 2 years ago, thinking this is going to be the future? Is it going to be the future? I think there's a bit of a debate around that. So for me, having this AutoTrader price tracker is a really, really big tool. It's nothing to do with me. I don't have any affiliation or association with them. I just found it, and I think it's fantastic because it allows you to be able to track the price of the cars. And I think when you're looking at buying a car, really good tool to use to barter with the dealership and get a better price on your next car. So hope that video's been interesting. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. Check out the other videos on the other vehicles I own on the channel, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.